Our goal today is 5 peaks, and the 3 most famous peaks are the King, the Queen, and the Jack. Okay, where are these peaks? We're looking at the first one, the King, but where are they? Okay, we are south of Las Vegas, and you can see Frenchman Mountain in the distance. We're at the end of Horizon Road, or Horizon Drive, and this is where we're parked. It's just where Horizon Drive ends, the paved part ends, and then it becomes Dutchman Pass Road, unpaved. And you're looking over in this direction would be toward the River Mountains. So, Jean-Luc is going to describe this experience, this adventure today. The King, the Queen, and possibly the Jack, and other various peaks that he has in mind.
Yeah, okay, unfortunately we can't see the other mountain on the back of this one, and we will come back. It's unusual to start by the very end of the hike. We will come back on this right ridge of this mountain, but before that we will turn this way on the right side of this mountain. We will pass the first canyon, following the ridge on the right of this first canyon, then trying to find an access to the next parallel canyon to reach the next ridge on the right of this second canyon. And from a nice and easy desert hike, it will become gradually something more adventurous, and it will, when we will reach the first real summit, it really will be a mountain hike with a good and beautiful landscape. Once there, we will discover, because we could have some option and we will decide what to do, but the goal is to do the 5 main summit in this area. View from here, it looks okay. From over there, it's something else.
Okay, here we go.
Lava Butte, Frenchman Mountain, all of the ridges on the back of the Henderson Antennas Mountain. The descent that we will do at the end of the hike. We go this way, and by the way, we could see the lava dome just on the very northern end of the Black Mountain. This one is great to do.
Okay, we've been heading up this road from the parking area where we started. And the mountains we're looking at are in the sunlight right now, but here they are. That's the King, I believe. And that over there might be the Jack. We're not sure yet. But, and this one over here might be white gold, but we'll figure it all out in a bit. Anyway, we're continuing up this road. And as you're looking at the mountains from the parking lot, we're going in a counterclockwise direction, starting on the right side of this little range of mountains. So, and then here you can see a little more. And over in this direction, the communications towers on that hill, very distinctive above Horizon Drive. Okay, continuing onward. Okay, here we are. We've continued up this road. We're at a high point. Great view. River mountains over in this direction. And then going in this direction, possibly the Muddy Mountains. Not 100% sure, but
I am sure.
Okay, Jean-Luc is sure. So they are the Muddy Mountains. And Lava Butte. So now you begin to recognize places. When we did the ridges west of Lake Las Vegas, we were close to Lava Butte. And then over to Frenchman Mountain. And then you look down above Horizon Drive. There's that distinctive hill with the communications towers. And then you can see a ridge line that continues, which is another great adventure. And then looking over in this direction, yeah, the ridge line continues over in that direction. Now we are looking at one of the peaks, which I believe right over here is white gold, and to the left of it you can just see the edge of the Queen. So remember, the King, the Queen, the Jack. This should be the King, and if you wanted to start out going up to the King, you can see the ridge on the left. That would be your route up to the King. Then your next peak would be the Queen. You could take a little, there's the Queen. You could take a little detour and go to White Gold. We are actually going to be going in this direction and hitting this ridge and some high points up to this hill, which we haven't named, and then over to White Gold. So Jean-Luc is going to say something about where we are standing at this moment. You notice that there's obvious construction. This is not natural, it is man-made. So tell us about it.
Yeah, when you hit the levee that makes a funnel to guide the flash flood from the first canyon that I was talking previously, this thing is made to protect the communities down below. But we have the main goal is to find your way from here, because it's quite complicated, because the canyon coming from these mountains over there are all parallel, and the mountain by consequence are parallel too. Our goal is to hit the ridge that have the sun over there. Okay, so it will be one of the first bump. So from here, from the levee, you could turn by the left, passing the first canyon, going through a little ravine and hitting the saddle just on the left of the summit that are facing, that are in the front of the one that have the sun. Or you could turn by the right. Whatever you choose, by the right it will be easier, by the left it will be more hard but faster. So whatever, you have to reach the bottom of the ridge that have the sun. Our first goal is to do it. So we will be on the right side of the ridge over there, climbing this thing. There is an easy way to go down, a little bit slippery, to go down from this rocky outcrop that have the sun right now, and going down, and then we will follow the ridge to hit the first summit here, where looks from here, it looks very bad, but there is a gully that will bring us basically to the summit, and it will be pretty interesting to climb that, and it will be a real mountain hike on the bottom of this mountain. So it will be the first summit. Going down to the saddle to the second one, there is 2 other summits to do on the back. From this second summit we will decide if we will go to the last one on the very end of this mountain chain. We'll see, but it could be bad to go down on the other side. But whatever, from this second summit we will do the third, the fourth, and we will finish with the 5th here, and going down the ridge to the car.
Okay, and this first summit, again, white gold. The second summit looks like the Queen. We'll find out when we get up there. And this summit would be the King. And the Jack is beyond the Queen. Okay, onward. Okay, you can see from this next height that the terrain is a lot more complicated than it looked from the parking area. Look at this. Canyons, peaks surrounding us. And then back down to the parking area way below. You see the road we were on. Down in this direction. Jean-Luc is going to describe a couple choices we have at this point and which one we're going to take.
Yeah, so I remember you that this is the first canyon, and this canyon divides in several branches. That's why it's complicated to have some good decision way to where to go. So from here we have the possibility to continue this dirt road and then continue on the canyon to reach this saddle, going down on the other side, to go down on the other side to reach the final ridge that we can only see the real top on the sun, on over the first bump. The other possibility is going down a little bit after the levee and following the northern route, dirt road, and then from bump to bump, reaching the bottom of the second canyon. So just a thing, because it could be interesting to know that before. Our goal is to reach the higher summit over there. So to do that, if you go down in the direction of the second one, you have to know that this canyon can be easily go down. You have to do the second one going down on the other side to do the next canyon if you want to short the hike that we will do today, okay? We will remember that once we will be there. There is a short waterfall, but don't try to go down this first canyon, it's impossible to go down.
Okay, and I'm thinking this is white gold, and this one over here is the queen, and over here the king, and the jack is beyond the queen. But all this could be corrected. We don't know totally at this point. We're going to find out. Here we go. Okay, we meandered a bit, but actually you could just stay on this road. It's the original road we were on from the parking area, and you reach a fence, and we're looking back toward the parking area. There's the fence, and you just climb over the fence, and you can see it. The fence continues along. And then continuing on the road, yeah, you can see over here that canyon that we were talking about earlier, and White Gold Peak on the right, the Queen on the left, and the King over here, and the Jack should be beyond the Queen. So Queen, White Gold. But what we're doing here is we're taking a turn, and we're heading up this canyon. We're going to circle around and eventually reach White Gold. We'll show you the turning points as we go. From traversing this ridgeline, now down and then on up this gully.
Okay, we are on the bottom of the first canyon to cross. I will find a way through this short ridge to reach the saddle on the sun, and then going down on the other side to find a way to climb the farthest ridge on the sun over there. So we will be on the top of this thing in a moment.
Okay, we just came up the ridge, across the gully from the road below, and our goal is this peak that you can see. We could see that had the sun on it earlier, and then on up beyond. So Jean-Luc will describe what happens next.
Okay, we choose the harder way, but the shorter way. And by the way, just right here down below, you could see the dirt road that will reach the base of this mountain that we want to climb.
Okay, that's the easier way down there.
Yeah.
Take
okay.
that road.
Yeah. But we like something more adventurous, you know?
Okay.
So the next step will be to reach this very next ridge and go down a little bit on the other side and climb this rocky outcrop by the right side of it. We will be on the back of the ridge that we could see, and pretty fast we will reach the summit where it's pretty vertical over there. But from the top there is an easy passage that will bring us down on the left of it, and pretty fast we will reach the saddle surrounded by this rocky outcrop on the left. We will climb that, continuing the ridge, then a slight turn on the right to climb these foothills over there, and continuing the ridge line that we can't really guess here because of the light, but basically we will be on the fault just on the right side of this mountain, and from there the final climb till the very summit. This summit will be the first summit of the day.
Okay. And now along to this first ridge, and then to the left you can see a winding ridge that leads on upward to what I think might be white gold, with the queen on the left, but we'll find out when we get up there. Okay, we were on this saddle here, went down to the second canyon to reach the base of this mountain. David is actually going up, and yeah, this slope was pretty bad because there's a rocky plates and a lot of loose rocks on it, so be careful on this slope. And just like I tell you, what starts as an easy desert hike pretty soon come a real mountain thing. Anderson down below. The Antennas summit, very well known by the people of the valley. Anderson start here and turn around. This is Anthem on the other side, and on the background Red Rock Canyon, and the beginning of the Black Mountain with the lava dome here and the top of the Black Mountain over there. As a reminder, all of these mountain chain were erupted, the volcanoes that draw a straight line to Lava Butte over there, and on the back of Lava Butte there's also other cinder cone. Okay, here we are at the first high peak. This is the one that I believe we saw in the sunlight from below. And speaking of below, here's a look down to the parking area. Somewhere down in here. Yes, there it is. There's the beast down there. And yeah, look at this. Muddy mountains. Lava Butte. Frenchman Mountain. And then beyond the communication towers, you're looking toward Gas Peak and the Sheep Range. And then circling around North McCullough Hills area, a lot of nice bike paths and walking paths down there. And then over this little Saddle, Low Point Passage. In the ridge system, the North McCullough Hills. That would be where Anthem is located. And then, yeah, you're looking at the North McCullough Hills here. We'll be seeing if we can identify Black Mountain and McCullough Mountain at some point in this little journey. And then over around, and we're looking into the sun now, but here in the foreground is white gold, and then the Queen, and then over in this direction you can see the ridge line. There's the King, and then back to the parking area at the northern base of the King.
As you see, there is these rocky clay plates covered with loose rocks. You have to take care. And we are pretty soon and very fast on the summit of this first bump of the day. This one have to be turned by the right side of the mountain, meaning the western side. Okay, I am on the top actually, and as you could see, the ridge that brings you to the summit are very narrow, plenty of loose rocks. Reach the summit, David. Don't stay on the side. Okay, as you see, you don't have to fall here. And at the eastern extremity of this summit, there is the way to go down.
And our route is, are we descending this?
Yeah.
Okay, Jean-Luc says we're descending this. So, yeah, that looks like fun.
So this is the main difficulty of the day.
Okay.
You have to go down on this scary thing, but once we will be on the bottom, it will be okay.
Now, do we take, I guess we take a left at this
on the left
boulder.
Yeah. And,
okay.
And once on the bottom of this boulder, it will be an easy hike.
Okay.
From bump to bump.
Okay, so yeah, the most difficult part of this little adventure. Okay, here's a fun little shot from halfway down. Yeah, been descending this, and actually, there is a lot of solid rock here, but you just want to watch out because there are some rocks that you could put your hand on that are really loose. So just ensure that the rock is solid before you trust your weight to it. And now heading down, you can see the King in the background.
So this is the main difficulty of the day. And as you see, it's steep.
We can do it.
It's vertical, but never forget the rules of the tree holding point. Once you reach the bottom of this fault, it's not that hard to reach this thing. You could see the profile here, and then go down, turn around the rock, and the saddle is just on the other side. too much?
No, I'm not putting my full weight on anything here. But I can tell what's solid and what's not. Some of these smaller ones, yeah, I'm not going to put my full weight on them. But some of these larger ones, they look okay.
So from the saddle, if you want an easier way, follow the summital ridge, reach this dirt trail, and you will avoid this bump that we are descending right now to continue the hike. So the passage will be at the top of this bump on the very right side of this mountain, not the one in the 2/3 of 1/3, the one on the right extremity. And then the final descent of this narrow gully. The problem of this place is that there is this very smooth rocky plate covered with loose gravel. So
notice how David is on the solid rock.
yeah.
Yeah. Let me know when I'm supposed to jump.
Right now.
Okay. Will you catch me?
So once you're on the bottom of this rocky outcrop, it will be easy to reach the first saddle and then continuing on the ridges. Okay, we just went down from this rocky outcrop on the right side of it to reach this final gully that brings us to the saddle, and here we are finally on the rounded ridge of this series of hills that will bring us on the bottom of the chimney to the final ridge of the first mountain. By the way, we just did the only technical difficulty of the day, so take your time to pass it. Don't risk any accident over there. Once again, look at this thing.
Okay, looking back, you can see the delightful little rocky high point we just descended. Wow. That's it. Jean-Luc says that's the hardest part of this adventure. I don't believe him, but we'll find out. And yeah, continuing on, white gold, the Queen. Yeah, we should have done this in the opposite direction so you wouldn't have the sun facing us. There's the King. So now you get an idea of these mountains. And now along this ridge around and finding a way up to white gold. Okay, Jean-Luc is going to give us the next stretch here.
Yep, so unfortunately we have the sunlight against us, so it's not that easy to see it, but we will continue this hill ridge line, winding around, and finally reach the first rocky outcrop that makes a bump, crossing underneath the bottom of the second rocky outcrop, and then there is a gully. Don't engage yourself on the gully that are at the third part of this long ridge, because this one is very impracticable.
That's a deep gully.
Oh yeah, but there's pretty
yeah, it looks like
pretty tall waterfall.
Yes.
So we will reach the ridge where there is these bushes on the ridge. Then once there, we will turn a little bit on the back of it and find a way to reach the summit. It will be quite easy to reach it. And turning by the right on the back, we will reach the very end of the mountain. Over there, it will be beautiful. So from there, we will go down on the saddle that separates these two mountains to reach the second mountain of the day. On one of these summits, we will decide what to do next, if we will go on the background that we can see from here, or to continue just like I was expecting. But this is what I call the 5 summit, because I never find a good name, and the reality of the terrain don't fit really the reality of the map. So we'll see, but whatever, we will see once on the top of the first summit where to continue.
Okay, and again in my thinking, white gold, queen, and king, and the jack would be off to the right, almost a straight line beyond white gold, but that's all to be determined. And then looking back to that summit we just descended from. Semi-vertical, it was class 3, maybe a bit in places a high class 3, but still class 3. There was nice angling on the rock. And here is a feather of what?
So for sure it's not a crow, but I think it's a owl.
An
so
owl.
Excuse the way I said it.
Oh no,
crow,
you said it right.
Crow and owl.
Yes.
But I think this is a owl because the color, I'm not really sure, but it should be. It's not a crow.
Okay. Well, okay. A little
run Forrest, run.
Bird lesson. Yeah.
Run Forrest.
From Forrest Gump. Yeah. Feather dropping. Okay, onward.
There is a bighorn sheep trail turning around or over every bump. You could see here on the side the dirt gravel road that gives you an occasion to avoid the first mountain difficulty. So as you see, the problem of this part of the mountain is these rocky plates covered with loose gravels. Fortunately, they are very sharp and they will help to don't slip too much. Okay. Okay, the goal of today was to do the five summit. This will be the first one, the second one, the third one is on the back, the fourth and the fifth, then the descent to the parking lot. But we will see from the top of the first and the second if there's an option to explore much further. So we don't know yet if we will use this route.
And by the way, you can see the road we were on not long ago. We crossed this road when we first came up and then descended and then ascended that high point. We just came up this ridge line from the high point below where we descended that semi-vertical area, all class 3 really. And here you can see the surrounding terrain. There's the North McCullough Hills, North McCullough Range, and Anthem would be on the other side of that low point. And then continuing on, there's a well-marked mountain on a lot of maps. It's called Black Mountain. That's a high point in the North McCullough Range. And there you have it, Black Mountain. And there's the South McCullough Range with a high point in McCullough Mountain. And that's beyond where we can actually see here. Yeah, but continuing to look around here, now you can see, yeah, I think one of these mountains over here is the Jack. It's either that one, or now that we're seeing more, it could be this one beyond. But I'm still thinking that yes, this up here, which is our next summit, is white gold. And then the Queen and the King. I haven't been here before. If I'm wrong, you're going to see a whole lot of annotations on this video. But that's what I'm thinking. And Jean-Luc is going to describe our next street. Go ahead.
Yeah, view from here, now you could see that it's much easier than what you could expect view from below. We will continue this ridge and we will climb this little fold on the side of the mountain, turning just on the back of it, and it will be an easy hike till the summit.
Okay, excellent. So we're going to be on the left side of this these rocks down here on the ridge, the rocky part of the ridge.
Yeah.
And we're going to just head right up that gully and then take a left onto the summit.
So there is another possibility. It's turning around the mountain, but the problem is that there is a very smooth rocky plate in the way of the descent, covered with loose gravel. So don't try to engage yourself to turn and avoid this mountain, because on the back it's very steep too. So stay on the gully, even if it looks bad, it is okay. And this is the real way to do this mountain. So the first one, the second mountain, we will see from one of those what we're gonna do, perhaps going up till the next one on the right. But the loop should be to come back, whatever you do, on one of these mountains. The third one is the one that don't look like a mountain here, but it's a real summit that makes the corner between two sides of the mountain. The third, the fourth, and the fifth here. From the top of the fifth, we will start the descent to the parking lot.
Okay, and from here, some of these high points, when we're talking about peaks, third, fourth, they don't look like peaks, but when we get down there, yeah. Jean-Luc says that, yeah. Yes.
So just a trick, the second one, you could see that the face that are looking at us is marked with the bighorn sheep Trailway Express. Don't use this way, turn a little bit on the right just after the cliff, and there is a gully that will brings us to the summit easily.
More gradual.
No, not only gradual, but also more secure.
Yes.
Because you don't want to slip
No.
on this rocky, smooth plate that goes down on the same line as the slope. So you don't want to be on such bad terrain covered with loose gravel. The big ship do that, okay, but on the other side, I could see the gully when it touched the ridge line of the first mountain. I could see it, but it will be difficult with the light we have right now to see it from here.
We'll see it when we get up on top of this next peak.
Yeah.
Okay, let's head up to what I think is white gold.
I think so. It could be because when the sun hits this face, it's a very strange looking mountain. And on the other side now it's not that evident, but because the sun is going up slowly, but there is this vein of lava or magmatic deposit, or perhaps lava ashes, and that makes looking this mountain just like a zebra. But we don't have the light with us, but when you are in the full light, it's very impressive to see how colorized and how this mountain is shaped. So once again, we did the last week the Lake Las Vegas hike, and we could see we were on the mountains on the front of the Lava Butte. We did this whole big circuit. On the left, between the Lava Butte and the Frenchman Mountain, there is the Rainbow Canyons parallel mountains, where there is one of the oldest earth crust at the surface of North America, except the one on the northeast of Canada, that's much older.
And Lava Butte is that dark cone.
Yes, and the Lava Butte did a straight line with the Black Mountain that we have here, and this chain mountain. Have a look at the map to realize it. It drew a line all along, and all of these mountains, especially the Black Mountain and also this big volcanic bump here, that are very interesting to climb, but you have to be very experienced to go to the summit, because it's a long hike to be on the bottom of the cliff. But once you climb the cliff, you have to be sure that you will be able to do it. The Black Mountain, and also the ridge line that brings you to the summit on the right, where you could go down, making a loop. Much interesting that going back from the summit of Black Mountain rather than going down by the same way. Come back to the second summit on the right and go down from this one. And the McCullough Range. You could see far away. This is the Jean Dry Lake Mountain, and just on the back of this mountain, this is the California state line, and approximately a little bit on the right there is Primm, Nevada, then the state line with California, and then you have this huge solar plant with these three very tall masts surrounded by mirrors that eat a liquid on the top of this tower. So it is
and you're traveling down Highway 15,
yes,
toward California,
southbound,
yeah,
from Vegas. So you can miss it, and very interesting thing, but a very also controversial plant, because it's so shiny that it kills the birds in flight and attract the insect. The birds are after the insect, so they collect dozens and dozens of cadavers. So it creates energy, but it kills the birds, so I don't know.
Okay. And one more thing to point out here is look below us. You'll see a series of bicycle trails. And this whole area that can be accessed from Horizon Road, and I think it's Mission Street or Mission Road off of Horizon. There's a trailhead area, and then a nice parking area, restrooms, and you can access these bike trails. Let me get a closer look here. And then closer look at the bike trails below. Beautiful network of trails, and they'll take you all the way over to Anthem. Yeah, and by the way, if you're going to take the trails to Anthem, you're going to want to go over this point right here. Okay, now looking down in this direction, you can see the dark cone of Lava Butte, and in front of that cone below you see some more reddish, colorful hills. These are the hills, canyons and ridges that are west of Lake Las Vegas. And you can see that adventure on Las Vegas area trails. But if you look carefully, you can see the two spires, the two pillars, volcanic pillars that we pictured in that adventure. Okay, on the right you see white gold peak, and then to the left of that the Queen, and then the King's over here. Jean-Luc is going to describe an alternate descent that you could take and where not to try to descend.
No, but just in case you don't want to be on the very steep descent on the very end of the hike, you could descend from the saddle down the canyon. There is no major difficulties to reach the bottom of the dry riverbed and reach through the first canyon the parking lot. First the levee, then the parking lot. So it will be a shortcut because you could be tired or afraid to descend on the other side. So if you're in the saddle, otherwise you just have to climb this long slope till the fourth summit, then the long ridge that goes down and goes up to the fifth summit, then start the very steep descent directly to the parking lot.
Okay, and where should you not go?
Oh, don't engage yourself in the canyon between the first and the second summit. There is a vertical waterfall, and don't engage yourself in the fault on the left. That seems okay, but that's not.
Large crack.
Yeah. So just like I said before, this part, the right part of the mountain, collapsed on the side. So that created a long time ago this fault, these two faults. It cracks like down, and you could clearly see that all the rocks don't have the same inclination down below than right here. Right here they are oriented just like that, but because of the collapse, the further you go down, the further the layers are oriented on the other side. So it shows clearly how it was separated from the summit. And all of these places was created because the Black Mountain volcano erupted, and you could clearly see that these magmatic chambers were trying to pop to the surface all along the edges, and the secondary effect was that it created a very smooth valley, and all of these mountains are the consequences of the lifted terrain after the the creation of these volcanoes. So basically, what we see here is the replica of the parallel mountain that we have in the Rainbow Canyon on your back, between the Frenchman Mountain and Lava Butte. So it's interesting to note that these huge forces erupting to the surface or trying to reach the surface created these whole mountain chains parallel together. And by the way, if you look at a macro map of Nevada, most of the mountains are oriented north-south, but here we are on the reverse of that. We are oriented something like west, east-west. So it shows the impact of the volcanic activity in this whole area.
Now we're in the gully. Nice gradual gully looking upward, but we're looking down right now. There's the King on the right, and then area in Las Vegas. We're looking straight toward Frenchman Mountain. Just for reference. And like I mentioned, this gully that we're in, nice, gradual. You see Jean-Luc up above. Didn't look this easy from below, but wow. One of the easier parts of the whole adventure so far.
Now ascending the fault on the right, and just like you can see, it's not that bad. There's this tree to climb, but nothing bad, and it's very satisfying to discover this fault that from far away looks terrible. Another feather. This one looks like much more a quail. And continuing to go up. Ooh. And the summit that seems impossible to climb, view from down below. We now have a first look at it. It's just a normal slope to climb to reach the summit. And view once again from the bottom, it was looking so bad, impossible to climb. From here it's okay. David down below.
Well, the gully hasn't been an entire giveaway because you can see from the rocks, very fine. So you're on a very fine gravel surface. You got a good incline. Have you ever watched an ant climb up a hill of sand? Yeah, that's what you're experiencing here. Wow, look at this. How totally beautiful. And there's Jean-Luc at the summit. Let's get up there and look around.
David ascending this gully. And look at that. Yeah, beautiful. And if it was looking terrible from down below, once again it was steep but not that bad, and no technical difficulties at all, except that I am here stuck in a bush, a cairn, and the final climb to the summit, the rocky outcrop on the summit. but the rocks that frame this gully are looking so beautiful. Trying to reach the sky, it's amazing, an amazing place. Just for this gully, this hike deserves the trip.
By the way, looking straight in this direction, in the dim distance, there's Red Rock Canyon. And then if you go to the right, you're seeing the Mount Charleston Wilderness. And I'll zoom in a little more. I believe we're looking at Mummy Mountain over to Griffith Peak. Actually, Fletcher Peak is between, and then Red Rock Canyon, the Rainbow Mountains above Red Rock Canyon to the west. And then over here, let's see if we can nail it. Yeah, Potosi Mountain. Okay, continuing up this slippery, slidey ant assassin hill. And speaking of assassins, there are occasional what I call assassin plants. Here's one of them. You rub against this, it's got thousands of little barbs. They will wrap around you, tear your clothes, and slash your skin. So that's why I call it an assassin plant. I know it's got another name. Gully below, we just summited. And just give you an idea what the world looks like up here. You can see a nice gradual approach to white gold up there.
So from the top of the gully you could start directly here, but if you come to this little ridge you will have a better view of where to go next, because when you climb that you don't have a clear view on what is waiting for you. We will do the crack on the left and we will be on the summit over there. Once again, amazing view. The clouds are hiding a bit the sun, but we are January 31, 2025, and I have a jacket, but David wear a t-shirt, so no complaint. We have a big south to the people up north. Black Mountain with the second highest peak of the Black Mountain, the left of the Black Mountain. There's an easy and beautiful hike to do when you are on the Black Mountain, but just like I said earlier, from the Black Mountain you continue the ridge view from here on the right of the summit, but once you reach the Black Mountain it will be on your left, following the ridge, and from the first tiny bump going down, making a loop, making a more interesting this hike. So just underneath the final crack to the summit,
and nothing complicated to reach this first real summit of the day. Okay, just climbed this short passage. Now the landscape changed drastically. A couple of steps to finish to the summit, and this is where you discover the back of this mountain, and that's it. So, a very narrow ridge. This is the summit of our first peak. Look at that. Okay, next step is going down a little bit, joining this saddle. Remember that there's several waterfall if you go down this way, so we will climb in this fold right here to exit on the top of this gully, and an easy access to the second summit, the third, the fourth and the fifth. This is the route 93 that goes to Searchlight, Nevada, then Cal Neve Ari community, and then the border with Arizona. This is the Boulder City dry bed, the Eldorado mountain on the back. Here, Scorpion Peak here, and it's a completely Scorpion Peak. You have to do it from the Anderson side, but all of these ridges are very dangerous. I did a part of it here, but starting from a bridge over there one day back in the days, but all of these bumps are very, very scary and dangerous, so not to recommend. But the Scorpion Peak is an interesting hike to do. So, by the way, if you are making some research on YouTube and you type Anderson explosion, you will see that one technician put his camera over there and was videotaping the bottom of the valley in this direction, and you will measure, comparing this video with the expansion of the town today, you will measure the difference of what was Anderson in 1980s, mid 1980s, and now it grows, gain whole of this place. This whole place, it's huge. But back in the days, there were the only rocket fuel plant somewhere here. I don't know exactly which one is this, but try to do some research and compare the today's Anderson and what was Anderson back in the days. South Point Casino, and on the background Red Rock Canyon. Over there Mount Charleston, just underneath 12,000 feet, not too much snow on the top. Memis Mountain on the right, Mount Potosi here, and the Black Mountains. Amazing place, beautiful rocks. It's completely insane.
Okay, first the 360-degree view from White Gold, where we're standing. And you see the Queen over there. There's the King, Las Vegas in the background. If this is indeed White Gold, then that is the Queen. And the Jack is beyond. It might actually be over here. Remember that deep gully that we said do not climb? Here we are looking down from above, and yeah, there's some vertical waterfalls here, at least one tall one you don't want to try to descend. And yeah, look over here, the slope of the Queen. I don't think you want to climb this, although bighorn sheep do. You can see their paths crisscrossing as they worked their way upward from plant to plant, as they're having a meal with a marvelous view.
Happy meal.
Happy meal. Yep. So what we're going to do is we're heading down and around.
Yeah, we will go down a little bit and find a way on the other side of this outcrop to reach pretty easily the saddle. Next step is that you could see from here, from the saddle, the ridge is separated by some red rocks, red ground on the right and some red ground on the left, and we will follow the gray one where it makes this gully that climb until reaching the last slope to the summit. You could also at the bottom of the gully turn right on the red rocks, cutting the slope and reaching the same. It will be a little bit longer and easier. So two different ways. Don't go too much on the left, because the plates, the rocky plates, are parallel to the slope, covered with loose rocks. It will be a killing machine.
So stay off the red.
Yeah.
Stick to the gray. And there is our next ascent gully. Boy, that looks steep from here. But we'll just have to see.
It's not that bad.
What that looks like when we're on it.
So now that we are on the top of the first summit, you clearly see that there is two canyons. This one is the first one that have several branches, but it makes one unit, and the second one. So coming from the end of Horizon Drive, you have to find a way by the saddle that we did to join the second canyon, or to go down on the foothills to hit the first mountain that we climb, where the descent was the most difficult part of this whole hike. Then the line of ridges and the crack the gully that we used on the other side to finally come back here down below and climb this last slope with this easy access to these narrow ridge. David, I have a question for you.
Sure.
What do you think about this whole thing?
Marvelous. Definitely another world, like a lot of the places we go to.
Yeah.
You would have no idea from looking up from below that you'd be in this other planet. Yeah, right now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, where to from here? I see the Queen over there, and look at those
Carriers.
bighorn sheep pathways.
Yeah. Don't use this way, by the way, because as you see, they are located on loose rocks, and these guys have 4 sure legs, but for us the plates are parallel to the slope, and these screes are very dangerous to do. And you remember, David, that I was telling you that what starts as a desert hike finish as a mountain thing?
Yes.
And you could measure here how steep it is, how narrow and vertical. Look at that. And yeah, that's a place. Woohoo! I love it. Plenty of evidence of owl watching the surrounding, and yeah, every little rock have owl evidence. There's a big one here, and this is probably where you could find the balls of mix that are made of a mix of fur and bones of their little prey they hate. Yeah, definitely a place to be. So view from here, you could reach the ridge and have a look at these vertical pillars here, but the main axis is going up this gully that are digged between the red and the gray rocks. It's an easier access to the summit. When you pop up at the end of the gully, it's an easy way to the summit. And even if this side of the mountain looks bad, on the other side it's very gentle, and basically it's an easy descent to the first saddle that brings us to the third summit, a summit that makes the corner of the valley. You will see why, because it makes the separation between 2 big canyons that you could climb to. Then reaching the second saddle and turning on the right of the outcrop, finding a way. There's a kind of trail or big sheep trail that brings us to the 4th summit, then an easy access to the 5th, then start the descent.
And here's Jean-Luc descending from White Gold and showing us the path downward. He's going to take a left somewhere around where he is, and then we're working our way around and over to the Queen. And again, there's the King in the background. Down we go.
The summit, turning a little bit around, and there's some bighorn sheep traces here. So try to be on the side of the slope, and then you could find a way to go down to reach the saddle. Just descending this slope, as you see, there's rocky plates covered with loose rock, so use caution. Stay on the ridge, and then just underneath you will find an easy way to turn around and go down. Then the gully facing us. Yeah, look at that. The kind of terrain you have to face, but it's not that bad once you reach the bottom of the... Yeah. And I'm right now at the top of the saddle. It wasn't that long and that bad.
Okay, coming down from White Gold Summit, we took the left side, went down that little slope to the left side, and then wound around. Lot of loose rock. What an exciting little venture there. And as you can see, quite a substantial drop off below. Now, as we said a little earlier, heading up the gray band to the Queen. So another exciting stretch ahead. We'll see how that goes.
David finishing the slope to this saddle between the first and the second summit. Here the gully and the possible other possibility on the right on the red rock. And I said on the beginning of this hike that don't use this canyon, but I remember now that I am here that I went down this one. There were a short waterfall and it's possible to go down, but down below the canyon become much narrow and steep and deep. So once you're on the bottom, I think that you could go down this way if you want to shorten your hike. You will be pretty fast on the dirt road that will bring you directly. But we don't choose this way. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, more of our path downward from White Gold, and now we are on a saddle below. You can see this on the map, this saddle. And now ascending the Queen, sticking to the gray rock, which is more stable. We're going to go right up through those two rocky high points and then on up to the summit. So yeah, let's just see how all that goes. Here we go. Well, I do like that the gray band has larger stones, which do tend to provide better traction. There's Jean-Luc up above, continuing on upward. Now let's see if I can turn around and get a look down. Yeah. Okay. So far, not horribly bad, but the one thing that I'd say about this is that there's just loose rock everywhere. And so if you can find solid rock and you're sure that it's not flaky to put your feet on, or large pieces of rock, large stones, they tend to provide good traction also. Okay, continuing on up. Okay, here's looking down that gray stripe. And yeah, it wasn't as bad as it looked. There were no exposed, really loose rock sections. And I hugged the cliff or the rocky wall on the left as I was coming up. That gave me some good stability. And so, yeah, you can see over to White Gold and on up to the Queen summit where Jean-Luc is standing. Okay, and looser rock up toward the summit. However, the slope is much more gradual. Onward.
Okay. We came from here, going down to the saddle. David is climbing the gully. The gully is pretty steep, and it will probably be easier to have choose the option that turn around and comes here. Plenty of loose rock, but in the same time good handle on the side, so good shoes definitively needed. The summit just right here. We left the first summit going down till the saddle using the gully, and David is exiting the gully to his last steps to the summit of the second summit. I don't know if this one is a little bit shorter than the first one, it seems. We have to check on the map. So you see the slope where the big sheep crosses their path in every direction, but view from the top, if you engage yourself in such places with the rocky plates covered with these loose rocks, it will be a nightmare. Okay, next step, we will walk over this ridge, going down a little bit, and it will be a gentle slope till the next saddle, then a bump, then a saddle, where starts the last ascent of the day to the fourth and fifth summit.
Okay, approaching the Queen summit, and now I can rightly identify one of the mountains I missed earlier. So here we are on the Queen. Below is the King, just to the right of Jean-Luc. And then looking around this direction, yeah, River Mountains. River Mountains over in this direction.
Yeah, the one on the right here are the chain which contains the Scorpion Peak.
Ah, okay.
The one that have a pyramid shape.
Yes.
And yeah.
Okay, so
on the back,
Scorpion Peak would be on the left.
Yes.
And so, yeah, different than the River Mountains.
So on the back of it, there is the shooting range, very well known from the Las Vegas and Boulder City people. But we could see Boulder City on the back of the railroad path.
Okay, yeah, Boulder City, down in this direction. Okay, and let's see what else we can see. Yeah, River Mountains, down in this direction. What I plan to do in the coming weeks, hopefully, is to do that entire circuit trail of the River Mountains. It's a very nice trail.
Yeah.
Shows a lot of possibilities, and then maybe look up and see what peaks are possible.
Mount Wilson in Arizona on the other side of the...
Oh, yeah, there we go. Mount Wilson, Arizona. Pointy Mountain. There it is, the pointy peak. And then looking around this direction, yeah, we're gonna settle this forever here. The Jack. is right here. I was misnaming the mountain over in this direction as the Jack. No, that's not the Jack. The Jack is over here. So we're standing on the Queen, and then over in this direction we're looking at the King. So this is a card deck range here. And then, yeah, looking around North McCullough Hills and Black Mountain over here. And then to the left is Mount McCullough. One of these two, I'm going to bet it's the one that has the, right in the center here. But there is this other one, but it's lower. I don't think that's Mount McCullough. But that's the southern McCullough Range. And over in this direction is the northern McCullough Range. So there's two sections to that range. And our next stretch here involves finding a way to descend down to the saddle below and then ascend to the King and then descend the long ridge on the far side of the King. So gives you an idea. Wow, this looked like little baby mountains when I looked at it on the map, but I got to say, these are no joke. These are, when you get up here, it all depends on the terrain, how loose is the rock, how exposed is it, and how the distance between the valleys below and these peaks. And I would say that, yeah, these are definitely challenging peaks, all of them. And like I said, we won't do the Jack today, but yeah, it looks very possible, heading.
It's very bad.
Yeah, Jean-Luc says it's very bad. So,
especially, yeah, crossing. You have to cross underneath this cliff. It's a very bad passage.
Yeah, Jean-Luc was saying that things that we were on today so far that aren't that bad, wow, they were challenging. So when he says very bad, yeah, we'll try that at some point, but not today. Heading over to the King and then down to our starting point.
So there's
that will be to reach the second bump, going down a little bit, and on the other side of this rocky outcrop it will be a gentle slope, so we will cut the slope all along until reaching the saddle, then doing this bump in the middle between these two rocky outcrop, and I will show you a possibility to go down from the top of this bump, because view from here it looks much more like a bump rather than a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
But it is the mountain that makes the corner and the connection between the two canyons and the two sides of the chain mountain. So this one is less lower. It is much lower than the other peak around, but it's one of the most important because it did the connection.
Okay, and so we're calling this one of the peaks for today. So it's between the Queen and the King.
Yeah, we're in the second peak of the day, and this short one will be the third.
Okay.
The fourth and the fifth.
Okay, so yeah, Jean-Luc is finding additional high points that he's calling peaks, and that's fine. And then just a look between the Queen we're standing on. There's the saddle below. On the map, it doesn't look as challenging as it actually was. A lot of loose rock and exposure up to white gold. So yeah, there you have it. So here we go, descending the Queen, heading toward that bump in the middle between the Queen and the King, and then on up to the King and then down the other side. Okay, now we're on the other side of the Queen summit. There's the Jack over there, and we're heading for the King. And now you can see there is a slope here that looks very doable to get up to the base of the King. And so, Jean-Luc, what do we do once we get to the base of the King? It looks like there's some pretty steep terrain over there.
It looks bad, but there's a trail and it's pretty easy to go.
Is that the trail we're looking at there, halfway up?
The trail is on the edge of the
oh,
ridge.
I see. Yeah.
It's not the big ship, the big horn ship that cross the slope. Don't engage yourself in this very attracting trail. This is a big horn ship trail. Not an express highway, but a suicide highway.
The Bighorn Suicide Highway.
So, but the thing about this bump between these two summits is that this mountain offers a nice and gentle descent underneath this rocky outcrop.
Oh.
And it's beautiful, and then it's very nice to stay on the top to reach the Dutchman Road. So once again, two possibilities from this small bump in the middle. That's why I call it the third summit, because this is an important one in this area. Or your descent after the summit on the saddle and you descend the canyon, where there is no difficulty except that it's steep, but there's no technical difficulties. Or from the bump, you go down the ridge, you go down underneath the rocky outcrop, turning underneath the last rock, coming back to the ridge and following the ridge down, and after the last bump, that it's a gentle slope and you're pretty fast to the Dutchman Road. The Dutchman Road, once again, link the very end of Horizon Drive to the Route 93 on the Boulder City Basin.
Okay, so just a moment. There's the Queen Summit. Here we are going along the ridge here, and Jean-Luc says that there's after this bump in the center, there are three options actually. You can head down to the right and hit Dutchman Road down below, or you can take the slope to the left and end up at the base of the King, or you can go straight up the ridge. And if you look closely, you can see a trail. We're going to take that little trail up the ridge. Let's see if we can nail it here. Yeah, there you can see the trail ascending the King, the ridge up to the summit. We're going to be taking that. And yeah, that's pretty much the story of where we are and what we're going to do next.
So without forgetting the last summit on the very left of the ridge, because this one is higher, the next. We have to cross the ridge to reach the summit of the next one before the descent to the parking lot.
How is the descent from the King?
Flat like that.
Okay, so you're saying it's steep?
Yeah, it's steep, but it's very rocky, and not the kind of terrain that we have this place with a slopey rock over rocky plates. No, it's much more
gradual
lava blocks.
Yeah.
That you have to turn around and find your way. There's several different possibilities to find your way down below.
Okay.
It will be fast and direct till the road, and then 300 yards after that, turn right and being on the car.
Ah, good. Okay, and one more thing that I didn't mention. I want you to notice a trail that splits off to the right about halfway up the King. And it looks like, oh, this is a trail you might be able to take, but this is the trail that Jean-Luc called the Bighorn Suicide Trail. So, yeah, don't do that. Okay, here's what Jean-Luc calls two little bumps on the way down. This is the first one. And second one over here. You can see Jean-Luc below, which is where David will be going soon. And so continuing on and looking back up toward the Queen summit, looking down the valley below with the bike trails, the northern McCullough Range. And here we go. Okay, still descending the Queen. And you see the King in the background here. And there's Jean-Luc. So you see we circle around this rocky area on the right side as we continue to descend and reach the ascent trail. And you can see it ascending to the King. So we'll actually have a little trail, and we're on a kind of trail here. It's better than some of the places we've been. And they're looking up again toward the Queen summit, and then over in this direction is White Gold Summit, the valley below with the background of the northern McCullough Range and all the bike trails below in the valley. And then over on this side, you can see Dutchman or Dutchman Pass Road. Leading back to our starting point. So let's continue on around the right side of these rocks ahead, and then find that trail up to the summit of the King. So here we are on the saddle between the King and the Queen. Queen's in this direction, the King over in this direction. And this actually, this what looks like a bump on the saddle is actually its own peak that got eroded. Now, look for an escape route from this point. Yeah, you would think that, yeah, just go down this canyon. However, at the base, you're going to hit a dry fall, vertical. So if you are thinking of heading down to Dutchman Road from here, you want to head down the ridge, and then you see a ridge below, descend to that ridge, and then take a left, and that'll take you to the bottom where you can reach Dutchman Road. So for now, what's our route, Jean-Luc, from this point?
Yeah, from this bump, that are in reality the short mountain. We will go down to the next saddle and then use the winding trail that turn around this outcrop down below, and then will bring us pretty fast to the 4th summit. On the back of it, a short ridge to the 5th summit.
Okay.
Then on the saddle down below, there's another possibility to go down on the left. Okay. You will find no waterfall. It will be steep in the beginning, but it will bring you directly to the dry river bed down below, and pretty fast to the car.
Okay, so 3 options from this point, and again now you can see it even more clearly. Along the mid point on the King, a bighorn sheep suicide trail. Do not take that trail, as inviting as it may seem. You can see the steep drop off, which for bighorns, no problem, but for us could be a problem. And I'm sure there are bighorns in the area right now looking at Jean-Luc and I and laughing at us, saying, "Why are you so slow?"
Yeah.
But you know,
just like all these whole, you could observe that on the side of this mountain, you have these rocky outcrops that are going down very sharp. So you have all of these loose gravel covering these rocky outcrops that are very smooth. So if you engage yourself in such slope that looks engaging pretty fast, you will be in big trouble, because you will be on very slippery scree, and it will be very easy to fall down on the scree till the very bottom of the canyon.
Well, we don't want to be in trouble, do we?
No. That's why we will stay on the ridge where everything is stable. Once again, on the other side of this mountain, after the 5th summit, it will.
Are we going right over the top of this?
Yes. And
okay.
After that, it will be the 5th summit, and the descent will be easier because of the lava rocks that are piled up.
Oh, good. Okay. And yeah, the trail is right over here.
Yeah. And by the way, if you turn on your left, David, you will see the first mountain we did that we don't count as the first summit. But now we have a clear view of the first canyon, the second canyon, the foothills of this mountain that finished with this rocky outcrop that we went down on the crack that are on the shade on the right part of the summit. And then these long ridges that we did to finally enter the gully that brings us to the first summit, the first real summit. We're just going down from the second one. I call it first and second because I'm not sure of their real name. We're actually on the top of the shorter one that are the third.
Okay, I'm going to call the one on the right. I've been calling it white gold. The one on the left is the Queen. So here is tracing that ridge that we traversed. There's that summit that we descended that was kind of a vertical rocky descent, and actually it was not as bad as some of the other stuff we've been on today.
We are just finishing what was looking from down below a bump, but in reality is a short mountain with its own features and rock. And then the lower saddle where you could engage yourself to go down directly down here to the bottom. So the trick is that you have to avoid these once again surface rocky plate. Cut over there or cut this way, then go back to the canyon and follow the water flow. Pretty fast you will be down below, and then it will be an easy walk to the car. Okay, the trail is starting on the right of this outcrop, winding inside these rocky things, and goes up directly to the fourth summit.
And the king is before us. Jean-Luc is heading up the king now, looking for that little trail. I think he's actually on it. It's not as evident at the bottom looking up, so the key is to be on the right side of this rocky area. Then looking around to what we referred to as the second bump. It's right here. It is indeed a peak in its own right. It just wore down. And there you have the Queen. And then over here, white gold. And then tracing our path downward, there's the McCullough Hills in the background, northern McCullough Hills, and over to that first little peak that we ascended. You'll recall was in the sunlight in the beginning. And now Jean-Luc continuing up so you can see where the trail is. It's not necessarily a giveaway trail. There's a lot of loose rock, but I guess it's more of a trail than what we've experienced so far. Okay, here's where we came from. The Queen on the left, white gold on the right. Head down the saddle. And now you can make out a nice little trail here, but you got to really be watching for the trail. But if you stay on it, it's actually very nice. And there's Jean-Luc way up there. And now further up this trail, you can see that it actually looks like a trail in places, but very steep, loose rock in other places. Not as bad as going up and down between the white gold and the Queen. There they are. White gold right, the Queen left. And then you can see the tip of the Jack. We'll get a better view when we get to the summit of the King. And then, yeah, look at the Bighorn trails below. You can see them zigzagging up the side of the mountain, the slope there. Yeah, don't try to take those. And then here we are approaching the summit of the King.
My last step to the fourth summit, and if you do the reverse hike view from here, you have no clear idea if it's possible to go down along this ridge because of these rocky outcrop, and the slopes are cut in different segments. So, but it is possible. Another view of the second summit that we did and the first one on the right, and then this long line of ridge that we did, and we climb this thing and descending this way, and once again the first canyon down below, a series of short hills, and the second canyon. And the very extremity, the eastern extremity of Anderson. Pretty fast after that it will be the railroad pass, and on the back of it are the river mountains. Okay, let's finish this one.
Okay, here we are on top of the King. There's the summit box. And just what we're seeing is the communication towers above Horizon Drive. And then basically you're looking along the summit of the North McCullough Hills. I'll move it larger so you can see more of the summit there. And down to the valley we circle, and you see all the network of roads below. And yeah, they make great bike paths. There's our first summit, that one that had the near vertical descent. And then here you can see the ridge to the left of the summit leading up to White Gold. And in the background there is Black Mountain, and then to the left would be McCullough Mountain, and that's in the South McCullough Range. Okay, so back to White Gold. There it is. We descended the saddle between White Gold and the Queen, then ascended the Queen. A lot of a lot of loose rock, but yeah, and very steep. So it's not something you want to do if you prefer walking on asphalt pathways. But anyway, yeah, on the right is White Gold. To the left, the Queen. And then over here is the Jack. And then the valley below, this is Dutchman Road or Dutchman Pass Road, goes through this valley. And you can see Scorpion Peak and those that line of peaks that are above. If you take Highway 11 towards Searchlight, but then you take Highway 11 south, and then you take a right towards Searchlight, you'll be going along the base on the other side of these peaks. And let's take a look around here. Of course, we've got Mount Wilson looking bold and pointy. Yeah, there. Its pointy self along the Wilson Ridge, the Mount Wilson Ridge. And then the river mountains are below in this direction. And then continuing on, you can see, yeah, things are hazy today, unfortunately, but there's a shot of Lava Butte and that whole area, the canyons and ridges to the west of Lake Las Vegas. And I'm sure you could pick out Lake Las Vegas if you look carefully. And then over here, Frenchman Mountain. Wow, you can see so much from this location. You're looking at the Las Vegas Valley stretching below us. Wish it had been a clearer day, but you know, it's just good to be up here no matter what the weather is. And yeah, you'd be looking at the faint Mount Charleston Wilderness. You really can't see much of it right now, but it would be that faint ridge on the horizon, and then back to the North McCullough Range and over to the South McCullough Range. We've looked at those. So yeah, that's a summary of what you can see from the King. If you just parked below, and you can see the end of Horizon Road down below here. And if you just parked at the end of Horizon Road like we did, and then came up to the King, wow, what a view you would get. You don't have to do all three. You could just do one, and it's totally worth it. So anyway, there you have it. How beautiful.
I just reached the summit, and the box from the Hikers Association, and I just saw 2 dragonfly, and I was pissed off by a fly when I ascend this slope. Once again, January the 31. Oh, I see the dragonfly flying over there. Amazing. Anderson City. We could see clearly down below the very end of Horizon Drive and the beginning of Dutchman Road that brings you to the Route 93 over there. Just to notice that this shiny square over there and in front of us are solar plants, thousands and thousands of solar panels that make photovoltaic power. Huge solar plant. Okay, Anderson that turn around the mountain like that, and over there the stratosphere and Las Vegas downtown on the right, and on the left the strip Las Vegas Boulevard. McCullough Range, Phenopepla Pass just underneath the antennas over there. All of these mountains are amazing. Could do that. After the pass here, the McCullough Path, it will be a little bit harder to do the rest of the mountain. So there's a lot of trail that goes in every direction on the McCullough Wash, but if you follow the main wash, it turns out that it's pretty interesting to walk. It's easy, sometimes you have deep gravels, but it's pretty interesting to walk on such wash, and it's not uninteresting to do it. It's a long thing, but could bring you some good surprise. David there finishing the ascent to the 4th summit.
So a final note from up here at the summit of the King is that watch for the passes through the South McCullough Range. There's the first pass, and over here, second pass, which leads over to Anthem, and over here, the third pass. So yeah, a lot of amazing hikes you can have in this area, or mountain biking. And what we're going to do now is we're heading down this ridge line that you see ahead, and when we get to the second bump there, it's going to be a good healthy downhill slope, but I'm thinking it's not as challenging as some of the stuff we've been on today.
Okay, the mast that hold back in the days a flag, the little container to sign if you want it. Okay, definitively the last summit of the day, and look at that, the descent looks impressive, but going down this way will bring us pretty fast to the dirt road, winding around and reaching the parking lot at the end of the Horizon Drive. It's always a little bit sad to leave the last summit of the day, but whatever, it was amazing. We still have the descent to do, which will be something, because it's very steep, but it's not as loose rocks as we had before that, the whole day long. Okay, so view from here, you could clearly see the levee that collect the waters and protected this part of the town. The reservoir collecting all of the branches of different canyons that come from the Fenopepla Pass. These communication antennas canyon, and that view from here looks okay, but it's a huge place. The other one, the one that brings us to the McCullough Path, and all these huge area that collect the water. So when it's raining, these works, earthworks and levee protect Henderson from flash flood. And so it's one of the many dams that surround the town. There's several in River Mountain and all around the city, because this whole area have only one point of evacuation. It's right here on the wetland park, then the Las Vegas wash that fill the Lake Las Vegas, then continue till the Lake Mead. So this is the only low point of this whole area. Every single drop of water that fall down somewhere in the mountains facing the city, or even on the back of it, will be collected through several canal and waterways to finish this way. On the back of it, Lake Mead, and in front of the Wilson Peak, which is in Arizona. Between the Wilson Peak in here, the River Mountains, You have the Lake Mead and before that the Colorado River.
And now you can see we are on a real trail here as we head down the King. So that's a nice change after being on all these loose rock slopes so far today, but there is a healthy slope on the other side of Jean-Luc, who's getting ready to descend that slope. Maybe the trail will continue. I would think so. And now as we get ready for that last slope, it looks like we're heading off the edge of the flat earth as we descend. Except there is the little trail over here that continues. So I'm gonna place my bet on this trail being decent. I would say it's probably, if you've been on Turtle Head Peak in Red Rock Canyon, it's probably a similar difficulty to the Turtle Head Peak trail. We don't know for sure, but I'd say yeah. And there, back up to, you can see how the trail continues to the summit of the King. This King Trail is very good. A lot of zigzagging, and like I said, it's kind of like Turtle Head Peak Trail. Yeah, there's some loose rock, but there are also a lot of solid foot placements on this trail, on some of the solid rock here along the way. And there's Jean-Luc below. And there's our starting point. Definitely descending to that area. Getting closer. Las Vegas Valley. Better look at Lava Butte down here. It's so hazy today. You can miss some of these landmarks, and you can see the trail and the road system below. And that first little peak we summited and came down the left side, and it was pretty steep, but not too bad. Always a good handhold and a foothold. So we're continuing downward, and we're near the bottom.
Just past the first bump, descending the fifth summit, and pretty soon you will see that it's not that bad. The trail is winding around the edge of the ridge, and then going down this way until this bump down below, and then pretty fast it will be linked to the main gravel road, bringing us to the end of Horizon Drive and its parking lot. A last glance at all of this panoramic view. David, what do you think about this slope?
Yeah, the slope is okay. It's like Turtle Head Peak, like climbing Turtle Head Peak, and there's a trail. It zigzags around, winds its way down to the bottom. So yeah, it's not as difficult as some of the things we've done so far today. And it's kind of fun to have a nice trail at the end.
Yeah, and also that you have to observe that now we change the inclination of the layers, the rock layers, okay? They are much more like that, and because we are going down this way, we won't have this smooth plate parallel to the slope covered with loose gravel. So we have a lot of loose gravel here, but because of the inclination of the layers that goes deep inside like that, it makes just like a giant stair till the bottom, and it will be much easier than the other side.
Yeah, definitely. There's good footing.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
We'll see how.
Okay. So I don't have my parachute, so I have to go down this way. Okay, not that far from 50% half slope, or probably less than that, 40-30%, but still an easy way. Rocks are sharp, it's not like a loose gravel, rounded loose gravel, so you have to take care, but it's okay, no big deal. Okay, the slope take another angle, steeper, and soon, yeah, probably I am at 50% now, something up, yeah, 50% at ease. Okay, we'll hit this tiny saddle there, and then an easy piece of cake walk to the car.
Okay, here we are at the base of King Mountain. There's the mountain itself. And we're now on a road. The trail has been good all the way down. And here you can see we're heading toward the parking area that was our start. So what an awesome event today. Do you have anything you want to say about the adventure?
Same thing, it was completely different all along the trail, different, start by the desert, then a rocky outcrop, then it was on the hills, then the gully, that was the beginning of the mountain adventure. All of the ridges going up and down were great. You have to take care. It's not a hike for everybody, but you need some experience. But yeah, really something amazing, and the landscape and the panorama all around. It's the kind of, this is the place where all the valley turn around this mountain. So the whole Las Vegas Valley and Henderson turn around these mountains, if you think about it. And basically this is the place to have a complete comprehension of the surrounding, from Mount Charleston till Boulder City. And it's very rare to see Boulder City and the Mount Charleston. Eh?
Absolutely, and it has been like being in another world.
Yeah, yeah. It's something
just right at the edge of the city here.
It's very wild, it's very rough, it's tough, it's something, this place. You have to take care, take your time, and yeah, I really love it.
And if you just go up to King Mountain, that's a beautiful view, and it's got a trail the whole way up. If you go on to the Queen and the White Gold Mountains, and the way we went, yeah, it's going to be some challenging spots, but at the same time, it's like you're in another world the whole way. You will not regret it. Okay, let's head to the parking area.
Absolutely.